Hello everyone and welcome to episode 94 of the 10-minute modeling challenge. This week is going to be a bit of a quickie because I need to do some more prepping. On Saturday, if you're watching this ahead of time, I'm going to be doing the 24-hour live stream to celebrate the 200,000 subscriber mark. So thanks a lot for subscribing everyone. We've hit another big milestone and we're going to celebrate that through 24 hours straight of modeling with minimum amount of breaks. Last year we did the same when we hit 100k. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun in the chat and I was trying to keep up with everything that was going on. Instead of having like multiple characters that I did last time, which I just repeated over and over again, I'm going to build one single scene now in Blender and just extend it through the 24 hours. And I'm going to do continue a little bit on the sci-fi cyberpunk theme, and I'm going to do some sort of a cyber city segment or like a little section of buildings and maybe a moon base or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and maybe in the chat you can come up with some suggestions and I'll try to implement it. I was potentially going to do a Unity 24-hour challenge, but I've been overloaded with work lately and I don't think I'd be able to cope with the mental focus needed to actually do some programming, development and the art at the same time as keeping track of the chat and things. So I hope you don't mind. We'll come back to Unity at some point, but we're gonna stick to some more Blender, and it's just easier to keep the flow going and interact with you guys if we're doing that. Something that's been suggested many times over the 94 episode is to do motorbikes. And I've always sort of strayed away from the subject, not because I don't like them, because I love motorbikes. I break my bones on them frequently. But instead of doing authentic, like a real life motorcycle, I'm gonna stick to the cyber theme and do a futuristic bike, mainly because I can't really do anything too much wrong then, because there's nothing to compare with the original. I'm quite terrified of getting the proportions incorrect if I do like a street bike or a motocross bike or something and it'll look stupid. So I'll just stick to something safe. I'll do something futuristic and it's gonna match with what I had in mind one way or another. So with that said, let's get cracking. Let's prep yourself for Saturday if this is still to come, or if it's already happened, then you can check out the history. But now let's do ourselves a sci-fi motorbike, a little bit Tron inspired. I chatted a little bit in the Discord to some people there and we spoke about Tron bikes, and it might have influences on that. It's not going to be a copy of it, but it's going to be something similar. If you're interested in the materials and the scene setup and all the rendering settings for Eevee, check out the last video, episode 93, where we did that spaceship and the space hangar, because I went through at the end of that video everything about the materials and how I set up the rendering and bloom and ambient occlusion and stuff. So check that out instead of me repeating it again in this video. 10 minutes on the clock. As usual. Here we go. Sci-fi cyber motorbike in 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Okay, we'll go straight into tab into edit mode on this one, and we're gonna have to do auto mirror, of course. And I'm gonna have a cylinder. I'll start with that straight away. So cylinder, and we have to switch off clipping for the modifier here, so we can rotate this thing. Rotate Y90. Let's move it out to here and let's enable clipping, and we can move it in and merge it again. A to select everything. I'll keep it a little bit higher poly this time. Maybe we'll get like a not steel look on this thing, and let's move it out. So L, move it out to, let's go side view. Scale it down, and should we put the wheel over here? I don't know. Maybe that's good. No time to think too much about that. So Control R for loop cut, select this one, S to scale this one down, I to inset, keep it a little bit thin here, futuristic. I'm gonna do those spokeless things. So E to extrude. Let's just delete this face actually. Delete face. Oh, I got another face there for some reason. There we go. Delete that one too. And what's this going on here? Oh no, that's the interface of that one, isn't it? E to extrude. Have I got clipping? Yeah. There we go. Finally. So that's going to be like the main wheel, and maybe I can do like something that holds this wheel. So let's take that one, Shift E to duplicate it, scale to scale it, E to oh, okay. Let's do Alt E to extrude long face normals. Have I got some extra geometry here? No, not okay. And let's just, so this thing holds the wheel for some reason. Should we actually extrude this one slightly up there and a bit down, E to extrude, and can zoom in a little bit on this one maybe, see what's going on there in that shaded view. Okay, let's put some sci-fi looking colors on this. I to inset, Alt S to scale it down, and then put some glowy blue here. Always works, like a Tron style thing. There we go. So that's the wheel done, I think. I'm gonna copy this one and put it on the back. Oh no, we have to have the stripe around as well, don't we? How am I doing? 751. Let's scale it up slightly. Let's scale this one up slightly so I can fit this glowing ring here. I to inset, Alt S to scale this one, and again, glowy blue. There. Sounds good to me. And now let's copy this wheel, L, L, L. Have I got all the linked stuff here? I think so. Shift D to duplicate it, move it back, scale Y -1, Alt N, and flip the normal, so recalculate outside. Let's put it at the equal distance there. So that's going to be the main part of the bike, or the wheels at least. Actually, I think I'm going to move these wheels in slightly. Maybe I should have kept it longer, I don't know. That'll do. My favorite word, that'll do. So now we're going to do the motorcycle body here. And again, I have to just go by my rough experience from doing my motocross bike mechanical stuff. So let's use Control R. It's not going to look anything like a motorbike, but at least I know sort of that something needs to come back here to cover the back wheel. So E to extrude, narrow it down a little bit, futuristic maybe. Point it a little bit. And let's do something here for the front as well. Let's just extrude this part, Control R maybe. Here, it's going to be more of a street bike though, so if I do something like this maybe, like a big tank here should do. So it's going to look maybe not so futuristic in terms of how the bike looks in proportions and stuff, I'm guessing. Let's bring that one down as well. And should we bring this in maybe somehow? I'll just, I'll do a Control R there, and then we'll bring this whole thing in, make it wider. That's it. That's roughly the shape. And then I'm going to put some futuristic, I've got 559 already here, so Shift D to duplicate that one. I'll duplicate both of these actually instead. Shift D to detach this, and let's make like a little futuristic like cover up here. I wanted to detach this so I can have a little bit more control over this one. E to extrude, S to scale, and bring this down, but I actually want it higher so I can put some lights and stuff on it. Here's like, why does stuff go thicker in the future? I have no idea. There we go. E to extrude, S to scale, down. I'm gonna put some lights on this thing, and I love symmetry, so I'm gonna keep it like a little bit symmetrical. Control R. Let's block select that to there. Make it a little bit wider here, and I'll put some weird handlebar thing here as well. So let's go in with this thing and up with this. I could have played a lot more on the futuristic part probably, but I'll blame it on time pressure. Maybe we'll cover this thing actually with let's put some sort of a weird shield here. Rotate like a side guard. So E to extrude that on, or no, E to extrude now. Now E to extrude this one up, G to move that on, and let's go down as well. E to extrude, S to scale, side view. Now I'm going to cover that front wheel. So E to extrude, S to scale, G to move it, E to extrude, S to scale. I'm just going to point it in like this. It's like some sort of a magnetic force thing going there. Should we point this one a little bit back? Just for something more interesting. There we go. And we could colorize this too, I guess. I'm starting to, okay, 422. I have no idea what's going on here right now. Let's make this one a little bit wider. We'll put some lights on now then. It probably look better if it shines a bit. So G to there. We'll put the light here. I like symmetry, so I'm going to put 2 lights on it. And E to extrude, and blue light. There we go. And should we put some stuff here as well? I think I'm going to actually extrude this one up as well. It makes no sense that it's hanging in the air, but I just like the look of that one maybe, and a little bit meaner here. It's a bit too chunky. Scale that one down to there. And bring this in. I'm just like looking at the shapes now, trying to do something that looks slightly cooler than it did before. So, okay, let's bring the bottom in here. I just have to keep looking at the shape a little bit and see if we can get away with stuff. Control R, bring that in. Should we put a lot of, needs to be a little bit thicker here, I think. So G, and bring that down. Control R, let's put some lines here. Maybe that'll look cooler. So Shift select a few of these. And Alt E, extrude long face normals, and go. Should we go black or no? We'll go more lights, more blue. And I'm gonna put a blue strip here. First, actually, I'm gonna put a black strip here to break that up. And then I'm gonna colorize this whole thing white instead, again for some more contrast. It looks a bit weird in the light there maybe. Let's select this, I to inset, let's put a blue strip here. Alt D, extrude long face normals, and some blue shiny stuff there. How am I doing? 230. Okay, let's do like a sci-fi dashboard type of thing here. I to inset, B for box select, or no, for boundary. And go black like it's some sort of a display there. Can bring this up. Should we put a seat of some sort here? I to inset, Alt S, Control plus, grow that on, go darker there. And we'll put some, like a swing arm type of thing cover here as well maybe. I'll do Shift D to duplicate this one, scale it, rotate it. And it doesn't really need the swing arm for the levitation stuff, but I'll just, for some design features, I'll keep something here. So E to extrude, bring it in, and E to extrude. And another thing I could probably put is, well, let's fix this one first before I think of the next thing. So I'll put some more, just like covers here to cover some stuff so it looks cooler. Let's put some sort of a panel here as well. Gee, 1 minute 27. Okay, we need tail light. This looks too thick still. Scale it in, bring that up. Okay, let's put a tail light here. Control R for loop cut, I to inset, E to extrude, and boundary was off. That's good. We'll put a Rode tail light on. Here, should we put, let's just do this as well. Alt D, extrude long face normals, bring this one in, put some orange stuff here as it was like some sort of a light, like an indicator light. G, orange, glowy, and that's that one. 47 seconds to go. Okay, what should I put? Put some sort of a weird handlebar in here. It's super tiny there. Can't even see them, but that's where you stick your hands down in one way or another. Control R, Alt S to scale. Control R, I'll just put some Alt S to scale that on. Feels like I forgot some stuff. Maybe we'll do inset here as well. I've got 23 seconds, so let's just put some weird feature here. I to inset, E to extrude, some intake of some sort. Control R, Control R, Control R, Alt S to scale, Control R, Alt S to scale, and E to extrude, S to scale, G to move. 2 seconds to go. Control R. Oh, that's it. Time's up. Ah! Okay. I should have looked at the proportions maybe of this human. It's going to be a big bike for that guy to ride. Okay, so here we go. I'll switch this one to rendered view so we can see a little bit more. So that's the bike I ended up with in the time frame. And as usual, I think I'm going to spend a little bit of tinkering time now just to see what we can do with this. If I have some more freedom to like tweak a few things to make it look a bit better. You can always try proportional editing and then see what happens when you move stuff around. Like if you don't like the shape necessarily, or like should it be up here? Should it go forward more? Should it go down there? No. Should it go? I'm actually quite happy with the way it looked, I guess. So I won't need to do any tweaks there. Let's try here. G to move that on. You could play around with it a lot, making it more narrow, higher, taller, loads of different ideas here. Down here could look cool. Actually, let's try bringing that down. I thought it looked a bit cool when it was a bit more bent like this. And this one, Alt Z to see through. Maybe I'll just tuck this one down slightly so it makes more sense that it doesn't go through. And then we can move this fake handlebar thing into here, scale X, and make them black. So I'm just doing some minor tweaks now. That's allowed, I think. Some cheating. Another thing that you could put on here that I've seen in some of the futuristic bikes when I looked in the past is some weird, I think I saw it on a Tesla bike or something. No, maybe not. If I do E to extrude here, I'm going to put something that holds like the rider in place. So if I rotate this one and then E to extrude it and E to extrude that on, you can pretend that like the bum is tucked into here and the rider's like leaning forward, and this is like pressing him down, or like the spine goes here. I should have really showed with this, but it's not rigged. So you can imagine that this one is like folds down and holds the rider in place. So if I do Shift D to duplicate here, we can put something that looks a bit like, I'll take off proportional actually, and E to extrude this one, G to move it. I'm not too bothered if it penetrates the geometry now. But we can imagine that something is here that E to extrudes, G to move, R to rotate. I'm just winging it now. G to move that one back, E to extrude, G, scale. Nearly trickier to do stuff in a different pace when you try not to think too much, just go with the flow instead. So you can imagine that this one would like interlock this one into place or something. And you could fold it back somehow. You could also put that stripe on it maybe. If we do this one white too. And then we put oh no, actually it's just Alt select on one of these lines and it does like a loop around and then put it to black. Look a little bit cooler. Maybe here should have been slightly more geometry too. This one got a little bit stressed at the bottom here. I probably would have liked this one to be a little bit wider. So if I do select this one, G to move it, open that up so you can see those lights a little bit more. And again, I got proportional, so I can sort of cheat a little bit and just move it into place for something that looks a bit cooler. And maybe we could have done with a black stripe down here too. Well, let's go all the way around for this one. I to inset, Alt S to scale. Okay, I've got proportional, so let's take that off. O, Alt S, and go maybe blacker there. So let's go for the rendered look again. So I've got to, again, check out the last video if you want to see how my render setup is. Oh, I disabled the lights by mistake. There. So that's like the main part of the bike, I guess. Maybe I should have had something more here. This one we can make a little bit neater too. Alt S to scale. Control R to loop cut it, Alt S, and then we'll put some cover up here as well. S to scale. Probably starting to be a little bit too much for a futuristic bike. They usually have minimalistic stuff, but as usual, I just put more details on to cover stuff that I don't know what it should look like. Just add some more weird features and you get away with it, I think. All right, so there's a couple of more things before I finish it off, maybe that we can try. One is to add some more lights and change the materials a bit. Maybe it's not reflective enough for the futuristic. We should hide this guy, actually, he's in the way now. Average human is now gone. And we've got, maybe this one is actually going too far up. Should we move this one on? O to select, and then O for proportional, G. Maybe it'll look cooler if you saw there. Maybe that's a better shape. I think I'll keep it like that. Maybe this one could have been slightly narrower too. Scale it down. There we go. I think that's better. And with that said, let's try the material now. I think I want it to be slightly more reflective. And this one I want more orange. Sorry for like jumping back and forth. I want this one to be more orange than yellow. Or should we put... I'll put it pink instead. That's more cybery. That's better. Okay, so material. We'll go into select the bike, shading. We've got the material here selected. Let's go for Z and do rendered view here as well. And then delete on the keypad so I can see it. And let's bump up the metallic and try to go down on the roughness for now. So that nearly goes to like a matte or a black. So let's add some light sources to make that shiny. Go back to UV. Everything's darker. So let's do Shift A, add an area light. There we go. Move it out of the ground. Then I can select it. Scale Y. Let's put a narrow light up here. Scale it up a bit. Lights, let's bump it up maybe 2000. Okay, and the floor is too matte, but maybe scale Y. Let's make the floor reflective too. So shading, object. Ah, I see what's happened. I've disabled the selection, that's why I couldn't select the light before. So there we go, now I can select the ground. Let's do that one metallic too, and bump down the roughness so we get that reflection in the bike. And then UV editing tab. And I guess we should try to smooth this thing now. I don't know if I should do Control 2. Let's just keep the geometry low poly, but select all the faces. And let's just go face, shade, smooth. And we can go a little bit darker with the bike then too, I guess. And maybe we'll move this light so it's not straight above. Rotate. Scale it. Scale Y. Let's copy it. And let's colorize the lights then too. Let's go crazy. Scale Y. And then shift a red light from the left too. Let's put a few light sources so it looks like it's like lights in the ceiling or something. Okay, I think you should really crease stuff, so no matter how much I try here, I just try to play around a little bit with it. But I think you need to crease these edges a little bit. I try to cheat a little bit too much, I think, by just smoothing it with smooth faces. So I think you'd have to go and select quite a few edges here. Like maybe let's just try here for a try. If I mark these Z rendered, and then we'll do edge. Well, let's see, edge crease, and then bring that up. Maybe that's what's needed to get that. You can see the difference here. Control Z. Maybe. Alright guys, that's gonna be it. So I don't know, it ended up a little bit shiny here at the end. I don't know which one you preferred. You prefer the first one where it was like more matte and a bit more metallic, or do you like this super reflective shiny look? I'm not decided fully on it yet, so you probably need to spend a little bit more time to get the edges, but from a distance, again, as usual, that's where they look the best. So I hope you liked the video, and give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, if it's not been Saturday the 9th of October yet, then make sure to check out the live stream that we're going to do. The 24-hour live stream starts at 6 o'clock in the morning Central European time, and it continues to 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, and I'll be knackered by the end of that. And thanks again everyone, and I'll see you there for the stream, and check it out if it's already happened. Check it out in the history. So until next time, have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.